Okay.
So let's start with what is, because that's always so important to acknowledge how we feel in the moment and how we're holding our brain. So if we just take a moment and just feel the thoughts that we've been having, or the, Patty, have you had any struggle going on at
We
all?
have a lot of smoke.
Oh
and
yeah.
I could feel how it gives me a headache, and it's hard to breathe,
Okay.
and it goes into the fear.
Okay. All right. So you can connect to that, Jan, and I'll connect to my stuff. And just listen to your thoughts. The thoughts that are in the forefront that are causing any kind of stress or discomfort. And notice how your brain feels as you listen. And as you feel that, what emotion comes up for you? If we could share. What emotion is your brain holding? Patty?
Mine's holding fear.
Okay. Jan?
Doubt.
Say again?
Doubt.
Doubt. Okay. So as you feel into the doubt, what emotion comes up with that?
It feels like just like a sense of overwhelm of like fear, anger, frustration.
Okay. So let's just feel that in our brains. And as we just feel that, let's notice how much space it takes. And give it a shape and a color. And a frequency. What frequency do you get?
That's a pretty good one. That'll work.
Oh. Patty, what do you get?
Mine was a little higher pitched than that. But same kind, like a vibration, just a little higher, not quite as low.
All right, so as you let's just listen to the vibration. And as you listen to the vibration, notice if that starts to access another part of your body. If it extends or it stays localized. What do you guys get?
I get that it extends.
Where to, Jan?
Like I just see it like as an energy that just goes down like a Christmas tree from my head through my body.
Okay. Patty?
Mine goes through my left side into my pelvic floor. And it makes my body jittery.
Okay. All right. And as we listen to the sound, Listen to the message. What is that frequency saying to your tissue?
Mine's saying I can't do this. I can't survive. I won't survive.
Mm-hmm. Patty?
Mine's saying no.
Mm-hmm. And I'm getting giving up hope, like a place of giving up hope. So let's just feel that and imagine the eyes of this energy in our brain and look into it. Look into those eyes and let's affirm, I see you, my brain. I see you. And just name whatever you see. And how do the eyes feel when you affirm them, when you see them?
Calmer.
Receptive to comfort.
Mm-hmm. And just feel the calm and the comfort. And ask the eyes if there's something they want to say to you. And listen. And notice how you feel when they say this to you. And what do you say to the eyes? What do you say to those eyes? Patty?
My eyes said that it shouldn't have been that way. It was so awful. And I acknowledge that they suffered and that I'm with them now and that I'm sorry it was that way for them.
Okay. All right, Jan?
I'm seeing a need. Well, I'm seeing a disconnect from divine will, divine guidance,
Mm-hmm.
and the eyes are really having a desire to be reconnected, reunited, so that there's a lot of safety in following
Okay.
divine guidance.
Okay. So let's just feel those eyes. And imagine whatever it is that they need, fulfilling that need. Patty, what do your eyes need?
Well, I'm helping them to show how what Jan was describing, this divine guidance, how that we're getting what we need right now.
Okay.
And that it was what it was. And that that we're getting exactly what we need right now. this being able to be seen and honored, and to help them to really see the beauty and the joy of this right now.
Beautiful. All right. So let's just really take this in and let's connect to our soul star, that inner sun within our brains, which is in another dimension but is so present. And as we connect to that soul star, imagine that the light is touching every cell in our brain and connecting. Every cell, millions of cells. And feel each cell being nurtured. How does that feel, Jan?
That feels perfect.
Patty?
It's really processing.
Okay. And what's processing? Share with us. What happens when
Where the shape was is it's taking it a little bit longer to really be able to receive the light, and things are shifting.
Okay. So just let that part know that you can see it's taking more time and you're here. I see you. I love you. And breathe. And let's see that light extending out beyond our physical brain. And imagining that it touches our mental body and cleanses our mental body in our field.
Sorry.
That's okay, Jim. How does that feel when you extend it into your mental body? Patty, what does that feel like for you?
It's interesting. I don't think I've ever done that. So it feels like I'm getting cleaned and aware of different space.
It does feel very cleansing, doesn't it? It's like dusting for the first time in a lifetime. Yeah, that's really nice.
I like it.
Yeah. Oh,
It feels like that's the level where the dissonance is being held, is right in that mental
yeah.
layer.
Wow, that's great.
Mm.
Ooh, I like
So
that.
is this where I'm holding the resistance to being aware of the Anaki thing? Like, is this, because I don't want to prevent going into a deeper material. I like to be open to exploring that. I don't know why I have that resistance.
Well, just feel that resistance in your mental body. I'll just say Anunnaki. And
Okay.
what happens to your mental body?
yeah, it starts to shut down.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. So that it triggers you.
Mm-hmm.
So if you didn't shut down, just keep it open. What would you feel? Just say the word. I'll say the word Anunnaki again.
I feel terror.
Uh-huh. Scared, yes, fear. Okay. So let's just feel that, Jan. Just feel that terror and acknowledge that. I can see the Anunnaki. The word makes me feel terror. I can see that. I can see I don't want to look at that. And if you can feel from your heart, Jan, what will happen if you look at that?
I think there's a level of pain that I've been avoiding,
Mm-hmm.
because as soon as I witness it, it's like I feel like I have more fortitude to look at it, but it has been an avoidance of pain.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So how does that feel just to be able to be present with it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's good.
Yeah. So when you feel that light in your mental body, and just breathe and just hold that word. It's interesting, Patty, to hold the word, isn't it? Just in your mental body. Yeah.
I know before I would just feel like anger, and it's so exciting today. Like I had all this different kind of energy and my heart is open and I'm like, I'm ready to love them instead of like wanting to like blame them for everything.
Yeah.
Really weird.
Oh, that's just incredible. So you can acknowledge that to yourself. That's beautiful, Patty. Ah. And I'd like to thank Bruno for just opening that space to realize and that maybe they need help too. And that my heart wants to help. I
I
keep
really honor your courage, Jan.
Thank you.
keep sending the light from your soul star. So let's imagine, let's from our soul star still hold our mental body, but let's access our higher chakras. The higher chakra that will connect us into our higher self. And the other day I was asking in meditation, I said, how do we connect to our higher self? And I heard, know that you are. And feel that. Just know that we are. And notice if that activates your higher chakras that connect you to your soul and to your higher self. So what does that feel like to connect to your higher self? When you connect to the field, what is that like?
Very healing.
Mhm.
Feels like rays of light and wholeness.
And are you receiving this in your mental body? What does that feel like when in your mental body when you bring in your higher energy? For me, it feels like that wants to activate the Taurus.
Yeah. I feel my body going into a spiral.
Wow. There's some kind of movement that wants to happen.
Yes. Like an unwinding.
Are you going to the left or to the right, Jan?
To the right.
Okay. What do you feel, Patty?
The first I felt like I was being held in compassion and then went into the heart.
Nice.
And then it's like that spiral took me into this bigger space.
I feel the movement of it within myself is like a spiral to the right and a side bend to the left. And then it puts me right in the perfect place.
Wow, that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
A spiral to the right, is it internal within your body or is bigger than that?
Bigger than that. But it has to be with the side bend to the left. Subtle.
Yeah, this is funny because the first thing I wanted to do was to bend to the left. Ah, so it's interesting for what I feel like a spiral within my body to the left and the greater spiral on the other.
Oh, yeah.
Do you feel something like that?
I think I'd have to go deeper inside to feel that. So it's my physical body that wants to do that. But if I go deep inside, yeah, it's opposite.
Oh, wow. So then you would have one. Ooh,
Spiral within a spiral.
yeah.
That's like the masculine within the feminine.
Nice.
I have these shells from collecting shells, you know, the big conchs.
Yes.
And we got a bunch of them, and there was only one that spiraled the one direction, and all the others spiraled the other way. I think it's the feminine that there was only one of. And so, you know, from my pendant, they spiral different directions, and then I have them side by side, and it creates this still point.
Wow. Nice.
I'll
Huh?
send you, maybe I can send you a picture. They're on my bathroom counter, but it's like this still point. And I was looking at them the other day. I'm like, this is who called Alaya in for me. Was this energy of this masculine and feminine and looking for this balance and how, anyway, they've been sitting there a long time calling you in, I think. That the two spirals and how it, and that's what it feels like in here. I mean, they're not side by side, they're inside, but
Well, it's interesting because it feels like the internal spiral anchors into the earth, which would be feminine. And then the greater spiral outside feels like it's the more masculine, connecting more universally.
I think that's right.
Well, let's just be with that for a moment. That's just amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my brain's feeling way better.
Me too. That inner spiral feels like it's a prerequisite to be established before the outer spiral can function.
And that's connection with the earth.
Mm-hmm.
So if we add perineum and all our fascia, that internet,
That feels very holy.
I agree.
oh, that network of communication just can anchor right into the earth,
Mm-hmm.
following that spiral. It's so funny because it's like from that spiral, if we can feel that, we can send love to the earth through the cord, like the umbilical cord that we anchor into the earth. And then receive the love of the earth. Somehow again, I imagine it more than I felt it, a tiny spiral coming back up from the mother within the spiral that we send down into the earth. To our hearts.
It feels like this is how you set up the Merkaba.
Really? Yeah.
I don't know, that's just what's coming to me.
Do you know how to do that?
No, the Merkaba is that spiraling.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Oh, the two pyramids.
Yes, and but there's a spiral within them, I think.
There'd have to be.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask you a question?
Of course.
How does that spiraling energy that's coming back up from the mother affect your cisterna Kylie?
Huh.
She feels important to me.
It brings in expansiveness somehow, doesn't it?
It does. It expands through my chest and even up to my brain, like can somehow connects them or something.
Which brings in the whole lymphatic system. Well, so if we go back to our brains and from this place, what frequency do you get now?
I get an inaudible frequency that supports like divine light, like a radiance. Like my brain feels so amazing right now, like so open.
What about you, Patty?
I get this really expansive, kind of gentle hum.
It feels very universal, doesn't it? It's like, it's a sound that seems to touch everything. And do you remember what our minds were saying to us at the very beginning? The feeling that it had the message to the other sound.
I'm curious if we can, like I was able to hold that sound and that opening and then hear or think or whatever the word Anunnaki, and everything stayed open. And the question came, is this a way that we can broadcast love to them from that state? Or maybe we need to connect into our hearts yet, but from that kind of broadcasting.
That's beautiful, Patty. It's a real pure space.
Mm-hmm.
And we can feel that within ourselves. Receiving that.
It feels like I can sustain and amplify that radiance through the mantra Om, A-U-M, Om. That really is fine. I'm finding that to be really helpful.
Oh, thank you. I haven't felt this good for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I feel amazing.
Yeah. Longer. Oh, that was beautiful, you guys. Do you want to do some work with the heart and integrate that? Do you have time, Patty?
I do.
Do you have time, Jan?
I have till 1:30. Are we good?
Yeah, we
Yeah.
have. It's like almost 1 hour. So,
Oh yeah, I have time.
uh, so our hearts. Let's begin with where they are. And through all of this, Jan, your heart's probably going through a lot, and Patty, your heart's thriving a little bit here, Patty. So, but if there's anything that your heart's been struggling with, Is there something that your heart's been struggling with at all, or any issues?
For me, I think that just that same thing of being willing to really love and embrace the part of me that would kill something, that kills things.
Wow. So let's just feel our hearts, and for whatever burden is carried, or wherever it is in this process. Wow, it's amazing. Shifting the brain really shift the heart without.
Yes, I know.
I didn't realize. I tell you, like, I realized so much focus on the heart, but COVID has made me realize the brain is so important. Our minds as equally as important, because you can't separate them. It's like you can't separate the heart from the arteries and the veins.
Right.
We just can't do that. So this feels so, oh my gosh, my heart is so happy that my brain is enlightened. It feels enlightened right now.
Yes.
Yeah. Ah. And so let's feel on a physical level. Our hearts in this new perspective of the arteries and the veins and all the millions of capillaries that's carrying blood and oxygen to every part of our body. Our heart, I love the knowing that our arteries are pulsing with the heart, that they're supporting the rhythms and the pulsations, and the blood is spiraling and moving. It's such a huge activity, down to those tiny little capillaries, which send life into the interstitial fluid, which feeds all our cells, oxygenates all our cells. It's from our heart, the gift of our hearts. I see you, my heart. I see you. I see you in a new way. How does your heart feel to be seen like this? Can you feel that, Jen? What are you feeling?
Well, what I feel is my heart was feeling amazing from what we were doing with the mind. And when I look at it, it's like it doesn't really want to be seen, which is so funny to feel that way. It doesn't want to be seen. It's kind of like a child that's dancing, and then you look at the child that's dancing and they get inhibited and self-conscious, like
Really?
that kind of feeling.
Uh-huh.
Uh-huh. It's like, I'm just good. I'm just good. You don't have to look at me. Don't look at me. I don't know.
So acknowledge your heart and let it know I can see you. Don't want me to acknowledge you. I see that. And I see you.
I think because then it feels like it has to live up to an ideal when I, but I don't know, like it doesn't want to be judged. And maybe my witnessing of it felt like would judge it if it weren't right. I don't know.
Uh-huh. So acknowledge that for your heart. See, you're afraid of being judged. And are you judging? Or are you loving? Patty, what are you getting?
Well, I was really enjoying the expansiveness, and then I could feel my mind like wondering, well, what is like the mileage if you added all those things up, and what is the surface area? And then you asked how the heart felt. It was like, could you just experience me instead of analyze me? I mean, I was feeling it, but then I was like, oh, this is just amazing. Like that's a huge, the space of that gas exchange space of the lungs is the size of a tennis court, and we're just amazing. And I was like, whew, I want to know what that is. So it kind of then related to Jan's. It's like, don't do that. Just stay with me. Feel me.
No factoids.
Yeah. And I was seeing that picture from the body worlds, like the red, all the arteries and just that whole, like that was something that took me into this space. But then there's all the little ones and the littler ones, and
yes.
Oh, we're just so amazing. And to feel the capacity that is my heart.
It's your
and then I was
heart.
And then I was feeling our hearts connecting with that awareness of, and that was really exciting.
Oh, it's so amazing. And can you imagine that when we touch people with our hands, that our hearts are right there in our hands?
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Isn't that amazing? So if you touch yourself, if you put your hands on your skin and you feel your heart, your physical heart in your hands, what are you guys feeling?
I have this amazing swell of gratitude for Bruno and what he shared with you about the Anunnaki, and how it's like this knowing that with my heart open to them, I have the capacity to love anything. And so I just am really, I know he's a genius, and it's like that is maybe his genius, is how he's so connected in that.
On all levels. Yeah.
Yeah, it just makes me like weep with how beautiful it is.
Wouldn't it be amazing if he would share these levels in his classes?
Well, they get shared because you're there.
I'm the messenger. Did you feel something special in your hands when you focus on your hands differently?
Mhm.
What do you feel? Is it, can you give that words?
Well, I tend to think of my hands separate from my heart, and when they feel more unified, like it just expands even more. And so with my hands on my skin, I can feel a softening in my body. So I was just appreciating that sensory feedback loop of softening in my body, and then I can expand even more. And then I soften through the touch on my skin, and it gets communicated back to my heart, and my heart can open even more. And then it just feels like I go into oneness,
Wow,
like no separation.
oh, that's beautiful. Ah. So, what I was looking at from here inside my physical heart is that interdimensional space where you can step into the infinite space that has no boundaries. It's like the inner light of our hearts. For me, it feels different than the soul star. It feels, but it's amazing.
Mhm.
What do you feel, Patty?
I feel happy. Um, kind of that sense of when I'm connected into my skin for perceiving, it's this whole different way of seeing, a deeper way of seeing.
Mhm.
It's like when you hear what people don't say and you really hear something, when you touch them on the top and you can't possibly feel what you're touching, or something like that. Like you can touch into maybe infinite space, or those microscopic spaces with love.
Wow, this is beautiful. And this is what I've been working on is when you feel into that infinite space and we know the finite heart, yet it's of the heart. If you can feel that space, it's kind of like the dawn between the infinite and the finite. That twilight. How does that change your connection to your physical heart?
It increases awareness of the dimensionality of it. It's like a minding the gap kind of experience,
Yeah.
which is where you find divinity. I mean,
Yeah, it feels like a doorway. It's like,
yeah, it's very cool. I like want to know what that inner space is more like, because it's I don't know what it brings me into, except that I just, well, bliss is really what it brings me into, the awareness there.
ah. So you see it as a gap, and I see it kind of as twilight. And Patty, how do you see it?
Well, when you had us like feel that interface, it was like to me as like this horizontal expansion.
Uh-huh.
And and to like knowing the heart in this way to me is like knowing its genius and its magic versus just knowing about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like not the facts about it, but it. Like what it was, what she was trying to show me, and I was like trying to understand the details, and then there's this whole other depth and capacity that's just like magic.
I think the therapeutic implications of this are tremendous as like the periventricular nucleus. I think it's a key, just like that is. Like there's something exquisitely therapeutic about holding the awareness of this.
Of the gap or the,
Yes, or where, what were you calling it? The
I was calling it the twilight.
twilight.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's like where the two worlds, the finite and the infinite meet. That's the marriage. And that's like the feminine and the masculine, the solid and
Yeah.
uh, oh, that's amazing. So as we hold this space and we hold the frequency of our hearts, Heart and mind has a whole different feeling. Well, from this place, I can, I was checking back with things. It's like I can almost see, instead of being engaged in this mind belt that we all get stuck in, that the whole world is like implant. Oh, so this craziness on the earth, it looks like it's like a belt, like it's like covering all of us. It's like when everybody's plugged into it, the whole,
Yeah.
is just insane. So if we can see it, it's so great to be outside of it,
Yeah.
isn't
I
it?
feel so unplugged right now.
Yeah, really
I just
unplugged.
feel so clear and so I'm like to have the contrast of like what I let happen to myself
Yeah,
versus staying in this place. I know better.
well, we all do, and it's like it's very powerful and enticing,
Mhm.
and
Yes.
exciting and mysterious and awful and tragic. And so those things, if we can just like right now, just we can send blessings into it. And all our love, we can just keep sending love into that mind. It's so much mind. It is a mind belt. And just keep knowing we can keep unplugging. Because what we have here is, this is the real deal.
Yes.
This is the real deal.
Yeah. Thank you for helping us see that. I really needed this today.
Me
This,
too.
gosh, this is so incredibly helpful, insightful.